and welcome to Create with Shannon, brought to you on behalf of the Fuquay-Varina Art Center. Today we're going to be making a fun card that is fun, colorful, and a new shape. So grab your supplies and meet me in the craft studio and we'll get started. So first things first, I'm going to go through our supplies together, and you see I have an arrangement of different colored inks. Now I've got these from several different companies. My Favorite Things, Concord and Ninth, Gina K Designs. This is from Simon Says Stamps, Tailored Expressions, and some of these companies also provide opportunities to be able to receive different colors in your regular craft stores that you can go into in the shopping centers and things of that nature. So this is an example of a Memento ink, and this is called Dewdrop in Ladybug, and these come in sets of 4 with different colors in them as well. So you don't have to go to a specialty company, just go to your favorite craft store or favorite craft website, and you can order all kinds of a rainbow of assortment of colors. But today we're going to be using these. This is My Favorite Things in Red Hot. Concord and Ninth, this is a mini cube in Grapefruit. This is Gina K Designs in Wild Dandelion. Simon Says Stamp in Lucky. My Favorite Things in Cornflower. Tailored Expressions in Plum Punch. And VersaFine Clair, this is our black pigment ink that we're going to be using for our sentiment. Now I also have some adhesive here. This is My Favorite Tape Runner by Tombow. This is the Mono Permanent Adhesive Tape Runner. And then I also have some adhesive dots, and these just give a little bit of dimension. I got these from Stampin' Up, but many different stores offer these. I have a couple of clear acrylic blocks that we're going to be using as well, and I don't honestly remember where I got these. I think that they might have been given to me by a friend when I first got started, but ultimately these are necessary for being able to use with our stamp sets. Now, I've got 2 stamp sets here that we're going to use. This is by Lawn Fawn. It's called Let's Bokeh, B-O-K-E-H. But really, all I'm looking for is this circle right here. So any kind of circle that you can find will be fine for this project. You could also cut out circles of colored cardstock and get a very similar look as to what we're going to be creating today. Then I've got this sentiment stamp set. It's called All About You, and it's by My Favorite Things. And we're going to be using You, and we're going to be using Are Amazing. There are wonderful sentiments on here though, like Celebrate, Happy Birthday To, I Am Really Missing, Mean the World to Me, Thinking of, I'm So Happy For, etc. I just love stamp sets like this. I think they're so versatile. I've also got a ruler nearby, and I've got several panels of cardstock. Now we're making what's called a mini slimline card today, and so we're doing a little bit of a different size. Now this is a piece of heavyweight Nina Solar 110 pounds cardstock rather in Solar White, and this has been cut to 7 by 6, 7 inches by 6 inches, and then folded in half long ways. I've got a panel of colored cardstock. This is just the regular cardstock, and this was a scrap sheet of paper that I had. It's kind of in a warmish orangey red tone that goes perfect with our rainbow that we're going to be using today. This is cut to 3 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and it's going to sit really nicely on our panel with an offset edge. And then I've got what we're going to be stamping on. This is also a small white panel in just regular cardstock, 2 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I've also got one small piece of scrap cardstock that we're going to be using to stamp the big U on. All right, so our steps today, we're going to make sure that you've got your panels cut down and ready. Then we're going to add our dots in all of our different colors. We're going to put on the big U and the sentiment, and then we're going to assemble. You will want to have some kind of scissors with you today if you would like to be able to cut out your U. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Just a reminder of what the finished product looks like. We're simply going to be taking our different colors of ink and using that same dot to overlap the colors. And that's all. So what I did to start this card, let's see if I can put it somewhere you can see it. There you go. Is I am simply going to mark the midpoint on my panel here. And I'm going to do that with my ruler. And that's going to help me simply to keep the lines in order. So this is a 2 3/4 inch panel. We're just going to mark really slightly that midpoint. So just put a tiny little pencil mark there. And now what I'm going to do is take my Let's Bokeh stamp set, and I'm going to pull out the largest solid circle. And I'm going to place that on my clear block. Now you can see that these clear stamps with use and love do get some color on them. It's okay. The color will not come off when you're stamping. It is completely still clear and it is just fine to work with. Now I'm going to go in as close to rainbow order as I can. I'm going to start out with my red and open this up and ink up my dot. And I want to get that color as saturated as I can. And if you want to, you can see that I tested some colors and I tested some opacity, and ultimately I decided that I wanted to line up, and my clear block has grid lines on it, which is really helpful, so I can line up right to that mark that I made at the middle. And then I'm going to go slightly off the paper and then go ahead and press down. Don't move it, but you can leave it there for a moment to be able to get as much ink transferred from the stamp to the paper as you can. And then pull straight off. Beautiful. All right, now I do have my cloth over here on this side. This is a car cleaning chamois that I have, I keep wet and I've cut down, but it's great for getting all of the ink off of our stamps. And the next color I'm going to use is our grapefruit. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on. And my goal here when I set it up is to stay in as straight a line as I can. So I'm going to line it back up here, and then I'm going to overlap with that red just a little bit. You get this nice blend effect between the two. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to make you have enjoyment while we're going through it. All right, so next thing I'm going to use my wild dandelion. Yellow, such a happy color. And I'm going to ink that up. And same process, straight and a slight overlap with the orange or grapefruit color. Excellent. Clean it off, go to green. Ink it up. Place it down. Same thing for a straight line, slightly overlap. Press it down, pull it up cleanly. Okay, we're going to go for blue next. This is a magnificent blue. It's cornflower color. Just beautiful. Okay, line it up, overlap, press, and pull straight up. Buying these little cubes is also an excellent way for you to be able to get familiar with many different companies' ink pads, because they're not all the same. Some are dye inks, some are pigment inks, some are based in water, some are based in alcohol. There's just different options that are out there, and there's different opacities. So what you're looking at is you might find that there are certain types or brands of stamp pads that you like better than others, and even for different projects. Okay, so we have our cute little line of a rainbow stamping done. We're going to put that off to the side, and we're going to pull out our scrap piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to pull out my favorite things, All About You stamp set, and we are going to pull off the U. And I'm going to place that on my larger block. And I'm going to stamp this up in the VersaFine Claire. This is a beautiful Nocturne black, and it gives such great coverage. It's nice and saturated. You won't get any kind of ink pad lines or anything of that nature. It's just perfect. And what I love about this too is that it is slightly sticky and slightly wet. So you want to give it a chance to dry slightly. And then you can go through and you can do other things with it. And we're going to cut this out in just a moment. But for now, just leave it there. Let it dry. What I love about it is that because it stays wet for a few moments, you can actually use this with your embossing powders and use this as a base for embossing. So we could do some clear embossing on top of this, and it just makes it nice and shiny and slick. Maybe we'll do that on another day. Now what I'm going to do while that's drying is I'm going to go ahead and put the Are Amazing sentiment on down here on the bottom. So I'm going to pull from my stamp sets. Same thing, the MFT, My Favorite Things, All About You stamp set. I'm going to pull the Are Amazing, and I'm going to put that on my small block. And when you have little sentiments like this, sometimes you can get them twisted or curved. Just put them down and drop them on your block, and that will help to keep them straight. Now I'm also going to use the VersaFine because it's the black that I have out for this. Gently touch it to your sentiment. It inks up very quickly. And then you're going to line it up with the bottom here and just very gently. Do not press hard because you simply want the beautiful letters to come out. You don't want it to get gunked up, and you certainly don't want to have the openings filled up with ink. So gently, gently, just kiss it to the paper. All right, now that we've got that done, I believe that we can go ahead and cut out our U. So I'm going to snip this off to make it easier to work with. And we are simply going to what I call fussy cut all the way around the U. And you can do this. You do not have to. You can leave this on a chunky piece of rectangular cardstock and simply attach it. But I do like the way that it looks by being bumped out like this. Now, a lot of companies also have die cuts that you can use to die cut these words out. And we will show you die cutting in another video soon, but it's not always necessary. And we can get a beautiful cut image just by doing our fussy cutting. So it's not always necessary. I also just got a new toy. I got a Brother Scan and Cut, and it will cut out images like this too, which is very exciting. So maybe we'll play with that together as well. All right, so as you see, it just takes a few seconds, and I'm just doing a basic outline, nothing fancy. But now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go ahead and create, I'm gonna put my panels together because it's easier to attach them before I put something that has dimension on it. So I'm going to put some tape on the back of our panel. This is that Tombow permanent adhesive. And then I'm simply going to line it up so it's got about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. It's not really 1/4 of an inch, it's more like 1/8 of an inch, but I like it. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing and go ahead and set it on our panel. Now our card panel is going to open up like a mouth, like this. And so I'm going to put it down and center it as best we can on that. So same thing, I'm gonna run some tape over it. And then I'm going to open it up and lay it flat so that I can get a good look and be able to line it up. There we go. All right, so the last step is we're gonna go ahead and put our U on the front just like this, and you can use regular tape to do this. I did want to get a little bit of dimension, so I'm going to use my dimensional dots, and it just pops it up ever so slightly, and dimension just gives so much interest to your cards, really makes them look nice and professional. All right, so we're gonna flip that over. And we're going to put it ever so slightly around that You Are Amazing. And voila, you are done. Look at what you made today. It's simple, it's fun, it is quick, and ultimately it will make someone's day. I believe you are amazing. I hope that you've enjoyed this project with me, and I would love to see what you're creating. Please feel free to tag Art by Shannon Lashley on Instagram, and you can also tag the Fuquay-Varina Art Center on Instagram. Let us know what you're creating. Let me know what questions you have, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.